name is Chip Williford, and welcome to Poetry Street. Poetry Street is the room without a roof where every voice is heard. As you can see, Maggie is not here today, but we're gonna go on without her, with her blessings, and we send our prayers for her and her friends and family members that she's with today. Now, we're actually on stolen land. Here in New York City, Long Island has always been a gathering and trading place for the many indigenous people. We acknowledge that we are guests on this land. Poetry Street and our work here in the area of Long Island is situated in the ancestral and unceded lands of the Lenape, who are the original caretakers. Also the Canarsie, the Shinnecock, the Montaukett, the Reckonwack, the Mansay, and the Haudenosaunee. We acknowledge and respect the many indigenous people who live on this land and continue to make ongoing contributions to our area. And once again, welcome to Poetry Street. We have a full house here at the Free Public Library located in downtown Riverhead, and we have a full screen with you guys on Zoom, and we're so happy to have you all. Now, so those of you who don't know, Poetry Street started around 9 years ago as a part of the Riverhead Jumpstart program to help revitalize downtown Riverhead. We started at the Blue Duck Bakery, and we were there for like 6 years. And when that closed, we went to Sonny's, which then COVID happened. So we were forced to try Zoomland. And now we have mastered Zoomland because all of you are here, and we're so glad to have you. Now we have some incredible features today, and I, because Maggie normally does this, will have the honor of reading the bios. First up, we have Maya Dreamwalker, who is a Harlem-born author and poet currently living on Long Island. She's been a featured poet at numerous venues, including Stony Brook University, Malloy College, Walt Whitman Birthplace, Borders Bookstore, Peacemist, and Performance Poets Association. For 10 years, Ms. Dreamwalker taught think shops at Bay Shore High School during the annual Ethnic Pen event to encourage critical thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maya Dreamwalker. Come on, give it up a little bit more. Church, we come to the stand. Yeah. Now, before she comes, I'm going to ask those of you on Zoom to please mute your mics. And those of you who are here at the Free Public Library, please mute your telephones. Ladies and gentlemen, Maya Dreamwalker. Thank you so much. Get to look right there. And if you want to put this stuff, you can put it there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for coming. It's Memorial Day weekend. And we got a full house. Okay. I didn't choose anything in any specific order, but I'm just gonna read it and you folks can figure out what you like and what you don't like. Okay. This one is called Wireless. I can see how some people can be a little stiff, maybe not such good dancers. You really need a lot of mental concentration to figure out how to be building rockets and bombs and all that strictly scientific destination Mars kind of stuff. But there are some people bush dancing, rattle shaking, dreamtime kind of human being people who point to certain stars, who draw constellations in the sand, who say, that's where we come from, and that's where we'll return, whose oral tradition can tell you how Kundalini superconducts compassion to Orion's heart and through the wormhole, and how everybody is a star if you only knew that the original Aboriginal cell phone was always wireless. This is called What Were You Thinking? What were you thinking of? I was thinking of the way a wedge of ripe cheese would taste, yielding to the bite of my teeth, melting across my tongue. She said I would have a basket filled with still warm bread. Another whispered, I'd be lying in a meadow with my love. And the tall one said, I just want to inhale the morning, the true morning again when hope rose with the sun, to sink my feet into the moist brown sod where they will not be judged. An old woman said, another fancied making clothes from new cloth. Soup, said the last woman to enter. They did not hear the echo of the woman who was there earlier. They did not see where her shriek had torn a hole in the illusion, how an inferno of wrath raged wildly in her eyes as she saw the very truth of it, how her scent had changed into an animal musk that still lingered. Animals can sense these things, but the women were thinking only of the showers. You don't have to clap, it's okay. Okay, this one is called Terminus. Please excuse my inconvenient life, my messy little Holocaust. It is a recurring wayward thing and it keeps a boil on otherwise tender flesh that conspires to keep every soft thing for itself. I don't mind these minor interruptions as exposed to graveyards, spit, dismantled femurs and mandibles, jumbled sticks of marrow that just keep getting in the way of towering federal plazas and new city eugenics. They simply powder the ancient stink with expensive perfume and sweet tout. Dance a minuet, have a mint julep, and dream of Isabella's enchanted abominations. Never mind me. I've been branded by too many flags. Mercifully, mockingbirds manifest destiny, and the sweet scent of magnolia will mask the air of its burnt smell, afloat with embers of skin. Stir the fear of insurrection, and manufactured consent is what would loose the dogs of war against my spear. So quiet the terror of a deferred retribution. Why should your flesh tremble? If I look aside, then it is only the soot that is making my eyes shine so. I digress. Was I the dream that made it possible for my grandfathers to step into the maw of vacuity and not stay disallowed, haunted by 1,000 spiteful things? The dream of those sleeping in an unknown grandmother's womb, born marked for life and judged unworthy to ever rest in Jim Crow's house. The clamor of voices agrees they would not want me to apologize for surviving. What would they say now that they have dreamed me? History, your tears don't have more validity than mine. Remember the past, never forget. The immensity of shared memories washes over me and I cry out the roar of sapphire seas. I am possessed, I speak in terrible tongues. I am in them and they are all in me. And I become pregnant with ancestors and convulsed by the insurrections in my veins. But there is a vulgar familiarity lingering in the air. Exploded pieces of flesh cling to me, releasing the coppery smell of fresh spilt blood, and the lies multiply about who or what is the bigger threat in a godless society. And I would say that perhaps it is the sweet tout that still powders over the ancient stink. But I already digress. I must be a sight, traumatized by having seen mountains of unloved bones. It must be the soot that makes my eyes shine so. The dust of marrow, all these messy little holocausts. This is called Missing Person. voice is going.
Oh.
I've been to the moon. All the barren places of myself with love did not shine. Death sat near offering to read bedtime stories for me, but I stayed awake until dawn. Days couldn't become night and night couldn't become day soon enough. Lying there naked, cold, the stranger in the hospital mask is looking down on me. The voices speak of me in the third person. I remember you made the incision deep, drew blood, and then washed the tears off your hands. It was suicide, you said, as you left. And no one came to greet me in slow motion, waving me on. No ancient grandmothers beckoning, no fast rides in dark tunnels speeding toward light, no illuminated realm of seraphim at the end of the ride, just the realization, just me. And the pain has gone to some other place. It only hurts for a little while and then it's gone, like a promise neglected, hope abandoned, a dream euthanized. Wake up. Time to wake up. It's over and you'll be just fine. I hear my own voice, my own voice. Recover me, the table, the cold table, the white sheet, and the victim is gone. Disclaimer, the person who left will never come back. The person who was here is not the person who left. The person who left was never here. This is the way I write, and because I have a background in theater since the 70s, and I demanded that, can I sit next to you, to the director of Afro-American Studios for Acting and Speech on 127th Street in Harlem. Okay, but they had a factory building which they took over and did everything. So that's why I wanted to sit with the director, because I wanted to see how it's done. The stage was built. The actors rehearsed. I saw every component of what it is to put on a stage show, live, theatrically. You can breathe the same air and look into one another's eyes. Okay. This is called Square Feet. It's kind of like a little story. It was the return of the plague of ours. Thank you. Okay. It was the return of the plague of ours. It was the way the muffled voices emerged from ghosts, like the congestion of walls. Feverish, she sat in the dark while her senses eavesdropped, removing the illusions of sheetrock until she could observe all the compartmentalized people on different floors playing at secrets and the illusion of privacy. It was the way the cold crept in her bones night after night, damp and all enveloping, until she became ashamed of her enduringly cold feet. Mercifully, sometimes the sound of voices were drowned in the tidal decibel wave of speeding sirens, presuming to chase down lawbreakers, put out fires, and fetch the broken. But how the new baby next door cried and cried, and she found herself hearing without wanting to. This baby's cries endured like a fog warning that rang out louder than the cacophony of multilingual voices, pots, pans, sitcoms, war movies, and the pathos of the streets. So when the night fever returned and the walls again became porous, her burning eyes could see how the young mother had become frantic, sifting through every box of soap powder for the wedding ring prize that would make it all better. And she could see how the young father, frustrated with his own inadequacies, discovered that he could startle a baby's cries temporarily, like saying boo to hiccups. And he thought it worked until all the formula poured out of her mouth once more, all over everything. It was the way the silence came after "shut up" flew through the air like an invisible evil boomerang. It was the moment they knew they were infected, and it was how they all denied it. She hated this twisted gift that blinded eyes and closed hearts and tormented bones and made people deaf. She had looked away instead of reaching out, and she knew her own touch had grown as cold as her feet. The coldness itself was the infection, vaporous and all-enveloping. The fever had scorched her mind to relentless clarity about the paralysis of apathy, the deceitful illusion of things that separate. After 3 months, though, the crying stopped, swallowed by the intrusion of sirens. Later, when some TV news person asked her, did she know what had happened to her neighbors? Did she hear anything? She could only nervously complain that it was a cruel joke, that there was never enough heat to keep them all warm in winter, even though all around her, everybody's mattress was on fire. And they did not know how to keep each other warm. And then she closed the door. And just to maybe even make y'all laugh a little bit. Yeah, right. Okay. I'm not gonna read all of this, so, because let's see. Please laugh. Okay. This is called Imminent. I really hope not. In the news tonight, reincarnation reform, reincarnation to be discontinued. After years of research, angelic authorities believe it is imperative that dramatic changes in reincarnation policies be implemented at once. It seems that mankind has taken too much for granted too long. Forgiveness and costly things like taking on the sins of the world go unnoticed, they say. Guardian angels are threatening to go on strike. Republicans say they would agree to a pouring out of the vials if they can avoid a tax increase. A critical summit meeting of the Pan-Angelic Conference was held at an undisclosed location to discuss how to take decisive action on the seriousness of this matter. Even with millennia after millennia of human behavioral research, the matter has remained unresolved. It was thought that mankind could advance if it was provided remedial karmic remedies as an opportunity to transform its malevolence and original sin, as entire belief systems are based on starting over. But most humans are still not willing to do the work. The right-wing members pose fierce opposition to continuing loans and trade agreements, stating that in this case, all affirmative action should be phased out. The Supreme Presence listened to arguments presented by the two most fiercely divided branches of divine law. Representatives for high priests and imperial potentates suggest that some rituals may still be applicable. Many religious officials, however, complained of nepotism. As number one son, Jesus spoke forcefully, reminding all present that originally he offered a universally applicable program, and that due to an insidious misinformation campaign, much of his teaching had been loosely translated, incorrectly interpreted, or even left out of the well-known text. Buddha, accused of unnecessarily martyring himself, still insisted in waiting for the last sentient being to become enlightened before he could resign and leave for Shambhala. The ambassador for the Beelzebub Foundation, speaking for the world at large, put forward a bill called the Clean Slate Bill for the Dissolution of Humankind. while attempting to restore good graces and relax imposed sanctions. Ambassador, a Mr. Clovenhoof, cited historically repetitive human moral failure and a penchant for creating weapons of mass destruction. During his speech, he said he was optimistic that with global warming and genetically manufactured plagues, he continued to have the utmost confidence that rapid change was in the making and that benign neglect would eliminate the problem at hand. The goddess Kali, speaking for herself, rallied support for her proven system of bringing about dramatic shifts of consciousness by ego death. But the ambassador struck down the motion by noting that just because Lord Shiva was smiling didn't mean that mankind would ever get the point. And enraged, she was last seen leaving the conference. Her most fervent supporters continued to picket with signs that read, "I want nothing and I'll stop at nothing to get it." At this time, the summit continues around the clock. A radical continuance still resolves that the solution to human overpopulation is to immediately implement a 2/3 reduction without remorse. Hoping to capitalize on the lost souls market, analysts predict huge profits in the expansion of eternally damned jail facilities, noting the anticipated increase in second death populations. Special consultant for the Seven Horses Time, a Mr. Ambassador St. John of Patmos, continues to uphold his warnings about the onset of massive global fish kills, refusing to revise his letters to the churches. Mr. Patmos also pointed to ceaseless warfare, genocide, and manifold sins against creation. The sound of the earth's woe is reaching to heaven, he said, declining further inquiry. In the meantime, special angelic forces are gathering as Jesus and his supporters feel that a sudden return is imminent. This has been Fish Speaker News. And I think, aren't you guys tired of hearing me? Oh, okay.
One more.
Mhm. This one is actually a friend of mine. He's a jazz and classical composer from Long Island. His name is Jerry Rizzi. Okay, and it's the CD is called Turn of the Century, and this is one of the pieces that he asked me to write for him, and it's called American Beach. Timely, okay, but a little different. Okay. She has always recognized me whenever I have returned home, though I lie at her salt-bitten feet, covered in kelp and scarred by the secrets of things. Her bosom swells like bread as she rocks my disconsolate heart. She sings a lullaby in a forgotten language to balm my mortal wound, ever so tender, so that here in this weariness in between, I might find rest and solace inside the embrace of her great compassion. I am a tempest-tossed soul who did arrive upon the curl of a wave, upon a desolate beach where oily pearls wash up out of a blackened sea. So I will look up into the fury of her eyes and see only mother, with her knowing that I won't remember the words until all I thought I was has died. Never have you not been loved, she soothes as a consolate whispering wind. Never have I not been loved. Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right, let's give it up one more time for Maya Dreamwalker. And I am so interested about Dreamwalker. What does that mean? I said Dreamwalker. What does that mean? Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Love it. I love it when relevancy and history intersects with some spirituality in there. Also, your poetry is very poignant. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Okay, all right. Yes, let's give it up one more time. And the fact that she brought her family, that means that she's an example. That means that she's someone to look up to. Is that correct, son? Her son? Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so our next poet is the one and only J.R. Judy Turek. She's the superintendent of poetry for the Long Island Fair 2020 Hometown Hero by the East Meadow Herald, 2019 WWBALI Poet of the Year, New York State 2017 Women of Distinction, Bars Laureate 2013 to 15, 26 years as moderator of the Farmingdale Creative Writing Group. 2 Pushcarts nominations, recipient of the Conklin Prize for Poetry, editor, mentor, workshop leader, and author of 24 and 24, Midnight of the Eve of Never. B is for Betwixt and Between. A is for Almost Anything, Imaginistic, and They Come and They Go. Now, her new book, Dog Speak, supports North Shore Animal League, the world's largest no-kill shelter organization. And that alone, she needs an applause for. So many strays out there that need help. Okay, she's also the first associate editor of the North Shore Poetry Scene and editor, book chair for Performance Poets Association. The Purple Poet has written a poem a day every day for 19 years. And she lives in Long Island with her soulmate husband, Paul, her dogs, and her extraordinary extensive shoe collection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it up for J.R. Judy Turek.
Wow, super. Thank you. I'm going to start with today's Sanryu that I just wrote 10 minutes ago, but I enjoyed about 20 minutes ago, savored. Peconic swamp thing, magic black woman, snowflake ice cream riverhead. That's what I have. Now everybody's got to go. It's on Main Street. The best ice cream I have ever had. And we've waited 15 years to come back and do it. So thoughts and prayers are with Maggie. Thank you. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Riverhead Library. Thank you all. Thank you, Zoom Land. I'm going to do something I have never done before. I'm going to read a poem off my phone. And I'm going to preface. My thanks to Rita Monti for sending me this urgent text the other day. Send me a poem, quick, with Italy or Italia in the poem. And I thought, hurry. And I'm like, I have almost 8,000 poems. I probably have something, but I'll just write something. So thank you, Rita, for the inspiration. And hey, TA, this is for you. Special delivery. A package arrives, lightweight, fits inside my mailbox, double wrapped in plastic, stickers and label all over it, Italia. But no name for return address, just cryptic company something. And I'm puzzled. I didn't order anything. Not my birthday, what can it be? Bumpy contents, but so light. I wonder what's inside as I cut plastic, more plastic, to reveal a surprise. Delight in a heavenly shade of plum. Sandals with a perfect wedge, not too high, not too low, just right. A flower flouncing on the side. I hold my breath as I place them with love and tenderness on the floor before my feet, hoping, eyes closed, hoping they fit. And they do. As though they were made custom just for me. Custom made. Special order. Yes, oh yes, I remember a friend, one I've never met, but adore like the sun, like the moon and stars, who asked me what size shoe I wear. Yes, oh yes, doing a conversion I didn't realize. Italia. I wear them with a smile. A friend 2,219 miles away can feel each time I wear my special delivery. Thanks, TA, that's for you.
That's a special moment as well as a special delivery. Thank you.
Thank you. What a surprise. Okay, so as Chip had said, I am celebrating Dog Speak. I am so in love with this book. Some people are maybe a little tired of it, but I am not. It is 24 poems that I wrote in a 24-hour poetry marathon. Love every one of them. And I'm supporting North Shore Animal League, and it's amazing. You know, here on our island, they're the world's largest no-kill shelter. They've been there for my husband and I for 38 years and 10 of our own rescues. These are ours. And so, so the poems are in the voice of dogs. And we're gonna play poetry roulette. I love poetry roulette. And so, and I want to thank you, Maya. What an amazing reading. Thank you so much for giving and sharing. So I'm going to ask you to play poetry roulette, and I'm going to ask you to pick a number from 1 to 24. 17. 17 is the most popular number on the face of the planet. And you wouldn't know that unless you were me and reading from the book. This is the only one I kind of thought about. It was in the wee hours of the morning, and it's growing on me a lot. In the voice of dogs. Picking up poop. You say you spend half your life picking up poop, and I ask why you want it. You sing. Picking up poop, bag on hand, back cracks when I stoop, picking up poop, scoop while I collect your poop. I again ask why you want it. I didn't want it, so why do you? You sing, picking up poops, following behind my poops, doesn't even say, oops, here I am spending my life picking up poops. But I love you, poo bear, so I collect your poo. Okay, so you like to sing, so I give you something to sing about. Picking up poopers, scooping bloopers, left on the sidewalk where we all walk. I need a bag of bags, but I love you, trooper. So I spend my time filling a trash pail, picking up your poo. It's not like it's worth anything, right? I left it behind so you'd have something to do. Daddy doo-doo, picking up my poo. No pooper scooper big enough to say how much I love you. But believe me when I say I don't love picking up your poo. 24 hours is a fun hour. Let me tell you, Amazing things. All right, who wants to play poetry roulette? Nina, pick a number. 8. Cool. I'm not sure how to manage Zoom Lamb numbers, so we'll just do it this way. Okay, so hour 8. Toy. Joy, happiness, tails, metronome, in constant motion. Loofah, latex, llamas, Norsum footballs, busy bones, stuffed squirrel, squeaky rubber duck, fuzzy blue ball, romping, frolicking, darting, dashing, cavorting, elation. Purple penguin, fluffy yellow flower, squishy parakeet, monkey jumping rope, nylabone chewy ring, neon green alligator. Rolling, bouncing, tossing, twisting, tugging, great fun. Every color tennis ball, small, medium, gigantua. Throw, chase, retrieve. Grunting piggy, squawking rubber chicken, crinkly rhino. Grappling, chasing, racing, jumping, ear to ear smiles. Jangle, jingle, ball, bell, wiggly wobbly, giggly ball, slippers, shoes, oopsie. Huggy teddy bear, pink soft elefante, knotted ropey pull toy, noisy water bottle, red nosed reindeer, snoring floppy bear. Soaring, catching, running, leaping, barking, merriment. So many toys, so little time. Play while you can. Pick a number, someone. There'll be a test eventually. So 1 to 24, not 17 and not 8. Was that 8? 8.
12.
Cool. Sorry, Zoom man, I'm not sure how to do that. So here we go. I love them all. I smile when I see them. Naming. Adam wasn't around when I got here. And besides, he probably ran out of names a long time ago. So I came here rescued from an unspeakable place, sans name. They called me cutie and smoochy puppy, but mostly they called me no and loud and often. I thought my name was No, but when they started calling me bad puppy and out, and not on the carpet, I was just glad to have a happy home. They hugged me a lot, held me on their lap when we watched TV, but I wasn't allowed to sleep in their bed. I had to sleep in my room. When they started calling me Doodle, I ignored them. I already had several names and wasn't looking for another. It was hard to keep track. In time, No stopped. Out, disappeared in the backyard somewhere, and they pulled up all the carpet. Now that I'm a little older, I just have one name. Doodle, not on the new tile.
Vinnie Cologne picked 23.
What's it?
Vinnie Cologne picked 23.
Thank you, Vinnie Cologne. Vinnie Cologne loves 23. I love 23. So, all right, so this is Munchkin. He's 2.5, about 68 pounds. This is Gumball. Gumball is just 2, and he's 140 pounds. The last time we could coerce him with 4 people onto the scale because he's afraid of the scale. So he's hungry all the time. So hour 23, I'm a little tired, but I'm thinking, what's next? What's next? And we always tell him, Gumball, you need a job. And so that's where this one came from. Employment application. Name the dog. Skills, retriever, fetch and fill with slobber, shred into cross-cut pieces. Landscaper, unearth anything that makes noise or smells bad. Digger, unplanter, uprooter. Demolition expert, any material, no job too big or small, no cleanup included. Bounty hunter, animal, vegetable, mineral, anything, anywhere delivered dead unless otherwise specified. Refrigerator janitor, clean and clean out, but no kale, broccoli, spinach, nothing green. Greeter, kisses and free hugs, non-discriminatory, though cats are iffy. Education, still learning from every fire hydrant, tree, and bush in my neighborhood. No degree, mutt. Race, optional, often down the stairs. Age, optional, in dog years or human years. Any allergies we should know about? Cats. Available shifts between naps and meals. Salary desired, bones, kibble, treats, toys, gas money for my humans. When can you start? After lunch, but I have to be home for dinner. I can't stay out after dark. References. Chance, Pebble, Harvey, Opie, Snickers, Munchkin, Gumball, the man who runs my dog park, and my humans. Preferred contact method, whistle. Okay. 16. Okay. Just past midnight. Just past midnight. Yawn. We're watching TV on the couch, a bad movie, but I'm not allowed to touch the remote. You stick with it, but I've seen enough. I look over at you to telegraph the idea of changing channels. You yawn, I yawn. I know that dogs will yawn if they see a human yawn, but I wonder if you'll yawn if I yawn, and so I yawn. You yawn. You look surprised. I wonder if you're thinking what I'm thinking, and you yawn. I yawn. You spin on the couch to sit to face me, and I sit up facing you. I yawn, you yawn. You yawn, I yawn. I fake a yawn, you yawn. You fake a yawn, I yawn. TV and remote forgotten, we both yawn. Yes, this is much better than that bad movie. You and me, we fall asleep, yawning.
One.
How it all began.
Yes.
I had the idea that it was going to be dogs. The theme was going to be dogs. And this is where I figured out, oh, they're writing the poems. Okay. So this is where it started. A word to humans. Sometimes I wonder about these humans. Their manic mood swings about the least important stuff like what to wear and where to go, what to eat, who to go with or without, who pays, who drives. It drives me out of my canine head to think they are stressing themselves. My buddy has some sage advice about worry. After all, he made the lilies in the field to sprout, grow, bloom, and die. He gave birds wings to fly, skills to build nest, multiply, to forage for food for their families, and the sense to stay away from felines. He may have made these people kind, though some aren't too kind. In his image, but we are a reflection of him. It's what we are, God, dog. It makes us, well, special. And we love everything about him, just maybe questioning his judgment with these human beings. So what happened when it came to humans? Life is good, plenty to do, to see, to experience first hand. So who cares who has the bigger house or truck or paycheck? They are worrying themselves into a shorter life, and then that big boat bopping around the bay won't mean a thing. I hope they get the message soon. After all, This is an important time. It's time for my dinner. One more. Five. Cool. Some people are shy about picking numbers. I can't remember which ones they were anyway. Kisses, always kisses. You know how much I love you, adore you, want you, need you, can't imagine my life without you. I love you. Kisses, always kisses, no nips, no bites, no fights, no grudges held over heads and shoulders, released before night falls with kisses, always kisses. We don't always agree on bath time or vet time or trim my nails time, but we always get along. You say you know what's best, and I trust you to let me have my way now and then, always with kisses, always kisses. You toss and turn crumbs left over from the day, clogging dream canals, and I cuddle close, closer, hugs, hugger. You smile, I offer kisses, and always, always, you accept all the kisses I've got, and that's a lot. Kisses, always kisses. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Judy, J.R. Turek. You guys give her another round of applause. So we're getting ready to start our open mic. The rules are that you have 3 minutes to present your poetry or your prose. Those of you on Zoom land, please put your name in the chat if you want to read. Those who are here at the Riverhead Free Public Library, we ask that you sign up. Okay, so I would like to read this from a child's voice. Shame's not my own. I was the littlest, the last of 5, really of 7 children. 2 I didn't even know until I was grown with kids of my own. Okay, I digress. I stood silent, quietly in line. On my face, fright for the ages, wide-eyed sidelong stare at my big brother, and a fluttery ache in my belly. I stood there, wearing my lucky yellow shirt, wrinkled, trembled sleeves, and bell bottoms shaking like a leaf inside. Outside, frozen, perfectly still, I stood, all the time wanting to run away and hide with my big brother at my side. I was 8, and this lineup was the routine when you did something wrong, like not doing your chores, like not doing what you're told to do when told, and especially like looking like you kind of want to talk back. Like, come on, I know our family was not the only one. Like, really, is there any reason to hit or beat? Okay, I digress. I was 8 years old, lined up from the eldest to the youngest, me. After the speech delivered as long as Sunday sermon, way too lengthy, came the beckoning of the hand, pointing to where to stand. First, my eldest brother stood in the designated spot, stoic and still, like an ironing board. Painfully, I watched as he, like a hungry crocodile, clenched his teeth as though his pride was at stake. Relentlessly, way too long, for meant more and more blows to flow, harder and harder. Did the tears choke behind the levee until he broke? His head did fall with nothing at all to say, feeling hurt, shame and defeated, he walked away. Within finger's reach, one by one, I watched each of my siblings slowly walk from the line to the spot. I was 8. A docile stare, her hand outstretched, without a sound, a single tear raced down. Taken by hand, firmly held, jerking whichever way, what? Nothing could we say, okay, okay, okay. Belt, extension cord, strap, diverse switches, braided with care, struck my sister, who didn't break her docile stare. I was 8. One by one, I saw them walk off sniffling in gloom, alone to our shared double bunk bed single room. Like dark seas, I disappeared in memories of what I've been shown. Alone, holding my behind, I walked from the line to the spot I was told to stand. Like the rest of my siblings, I too extended my hand. Thank you. I'd like to thank Christine Rao and Terry Muse for sharing their stories, which gave me the strength to share mine. Okay, now open mic. We're gonna go directly into Zoom land, and I'm gonna ask my friend T.A. Niles, who's doing some incredible work in New Mexico, to please talk about his work first of all, and then read a poem. T.A. Niles.
I thought you said we were friends, Chip.
We are.
Well, folks, I can't resist Chip's request either. So the work we're doing is with a nonprofit organization way out here in the Southwest in rural New Mexico. And it's the Mimbres Valley Health Action League. And I want to thank the folks who contributed to our recent fundraiser, including you, my friend Chip. We certainly do appreciate that. And we do lots of things that I don't want to get into all that. I just want to get off the stage as quickly as I can. So I'm going to read a poem. And this, again, is in honor of one of our features today. It was written between October 1st and 19th. It's called Adrift. And it was actually published in our local Mimbres Messenger. And it was written by J.R. Turek and T.A. Niles. Adrift. The poem in the bottle bobbed, spun, was buoyed by cresting waves, floated lazily in the calm, but never sank. I felt the vibrations of it swaying, riding whitecaps, bathing in sun rays, always buoyant with me inside. I am the message is me, lines flung wide, embracing the vastness of poetic possibilities. I float on a sea of sincerity. My buoyant heart swells on whitecaps, crests and falls in search of replies. Authentic replies ripple toward me, but drift beyond my ken. Salty drops escape me. No fear of sea and ocean, I sputter, my internal compass spins useless. You have drifted out of my reach. But only reach of fingers. Heart's grasp encircles you like waving kelp in Celtic waters. Thanks for listening, folks. Thanks for writing that with me, Judy.
Thank you so much, T.A. for that. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, J.R. Turek. The features, Maya and J.R., your poetry is so powerful, so poignant, so wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, we're gonna come back here to the Riverhead Free Public Library, and my helper today was Jen Sip. She helped me organize the chairs, and I'm so grateful for her, and I'm grateful for everyone at the Free Public Library. But I want to ask Jen to please come up and read her poetry.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? I'm going to try to be loud, but I'm not good at it. Okay, so this is a true story. It happened 2 or 3 months ago, and it's called Riverhead High School. He walked behind the high school, a shortcut to buy lunch. Teens in ski masks jumped the boy. It started with a punch. They took his backpack and his watch. He defended himself. They had knives and stabbed the boy. School can end in death. 2 weeks later was a fight. Fists and words were thrown. Police said that it escalated and someone got a gun. The boy was 15 years of age and forever he will be. Thoughts and prayers were duly sent to a bereft community.
Wow, too many times we hear stories like that, but first time for a poem. And thank you so much for sharing that. We'd like to go on Zoom land. Claire, tell us, who do we have on Zoom land that would like to read a poem?
Well, we first have Megan and then followed by Vinny.
Awesome. Megan.
Thanks, it's so great to be here. This poem is called Forget Me Not. On the rocky mountainside, blue blossoms beckon like sky. I pluck a feathery stem, breathe stale sun-warm green, wonder why these blossoms do not release perfume. Earth turns, night unfurls, paints my body cool. Petals beam sweetness tinged with spice. Tomorrow their scent will fade with the searing sun, but with the evening shade, fragrance will flower again, like lost hope, like buried memories, finding our empty hands. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Megan, and we really appreciate you. Okay. Who we have now, Claire?
We have Vinny.
Vinny.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to read an ABC Sidarian. So since you can't see it, I'm just going to announce the letter when I get to it. It's called Neighborhood Pride, and it was written from a prompt. Use the word apathy in your poem. It's about the construction of the Cross Bronx Expressway. A, all the old things in the old neighborhood. B, became greater than what they once were. Misunderstood. C, caricatures of cartoon characters and the stuff. D, dreams are made of. Created the candy-coated fluff. E, enough to burn the back of your throat and stomach. F, forget-me-nots, near-do dwellers, and all that yuck. G, getting stuck in the muck like a yellowy duck. H, how easy it is to only remember the good times. I, indeed, glossing on folly, gushing on gooey. J, junk, never ever reading between the lines. K, knowing nothing and caring less. Why do we, L, look past the blight? We've misunderstood. M, methods, means, ways, and measures enough. N, no bluff could be believed. We've run out of luck. O, or is it luck that we have that at times P pulls us through or pushes us so that we Q quit while we're ahead? Or could it be we've truly are rationalized, that we as a whole in our minds, S, still adhere to the good old ways and the tie that binds? T, the truth from the fiction. We've misstruck. U, understanding. Sympathy, apathy with pluck. V, voices still remain unheard. As we just tuck. W, what's hanging out back into the bed and fluff. X, x-ray pillows and pillars up to the heavens. We're tough. Y, yeah, we're tough and stand for what we think is good. And Z, zone off an old part of the old neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Vinny. Appreciate that. Okay, we're gonna come back to here at the River Hill Free Public Library and ask Joho Rabiloto. And I'm sure I messed up his name, and I'm sure he's gonna correct me because I really, really, really messed it up. Okay, tell me how it goes.
John Robillata.
There you go.
Close. Yeah, thank you for letting me come here. I'm going to read a poem. It's a little light. It's called J'accuse. A single robin feeds on the broad expanse of my backyard. Questions whether enough has been done to ensure the health of my lawn. his solitary presence a rebuke to the owner's indolence. Returned from the south a week, no seed or fertilizer applied. I blame the cold that racks my chest, renders me to my robe. A similar cold has not prevented my wife from her community chores. She travels across town to attend meetings, listen to talks. I sit at the table, view my red-breasted accuser, and think of a poem.
Look, I'm in the last prime of my life. The last prime of my life, and I intend to have a ball. I would run barefoot on the grass with my hose pointed up in the air. And as the water rains, I'll look for the rainbow. All right. Yeah, you like that one? All right. So we're gonna ask Sandra Archbold to please come and read. And she's here at the Riverhead Free Public Library.
Sitting too long.
Oh, no problem.
Plus I had cataract surgery earlier.
Welcome.
I've never done poetry. This is the first time I'm here or heard about this, you know? And I really love your introduction of the ethnic people and native people of Long Island. I was just reading about a tribe in Mastic, I believe. They still have 58 acres. That's it. So I don't remember the name though. I'm horrible with names. So we moved from Long Island up to the Vermont border. My husband was ill. Friends of ours moved up there, and I said, if you ever find a place up here, you know, because I knew he was going to pass, and I couldn't afford to stay here. You know, if you find a nice place, you know, let us know. And boom, they hit the ground running, and we moved up to the border. And he passed within a year. And I was on my way back down to Long Island to see doctors, which we had made, you know, appointments for and so on. And my daughter was halfway down. It was a 6-hour trip. My daughter lived halfway down. And I would stay overnight there and then go on. So she goes to work in the morning. I'm sitting there having my coffee, and I open her magazine. And I don't know if this is a poem. You can tell me if this is a poem. But I read about this, a way to write a poem. And I had never really thought about it before. So it was say one line, repeat that line, say another one, and then you keep repeating it. I don't know what it's called. I have no idea. But I wrote 2 of them while I sat there. And they're the only 2 poems I've ever written in my whole life. But I love these poems. Oh, first 2 poems, yeah. Well, I just put out on an email, I put out to my kids to do a haiku. They're all over the country. So I was trying to find it on my phone because my daughter, who hates stuff like this, I never even knew thought she would even participate. She wrote the best one and I couldn't find it. I thought it was in my emails, and I'm sorry, I was looking at them while I was trying to find them. Oh, I can't ever do that. Anyway, so here's 2 poems thinking about my husband, who had just passed like a couple of weeks before. I loved you. I loved you before I knew you. I loved you. I loved you before I knew you. I recognized you in a heartbeat. I loved you before I knew you. I recognized you in a heartbeat. You smiled and had me at hello. I don't know if it's a poem, whatever. But it said everything I felt, and I can go on forever. I'm a talker. So that made me squash things into a few lines. And the next one is, I awaken. I awaken. I awaken, my first thought is of you. I awaken, my first thought is of you, and my heart breaks. I awaken, my first thought is of you, and my heart breaks. The nightmare begins again. I awaken, my first thought is of you, my heart breaks. The nightmare begins again. I gather the pieces and put on the coffee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for sharing. That was beautiful. Absolutely.
Oh, is it, I'm just a rhyming poem, or, like that sort of thing.
I'm gonna sign you up for one of Judy's poetry lessons, and she can tell you all about it. Okay. Okay. Speaking of haiku, there's Melissa Longo. She is like the queen or the princess of haikus. Melissa, are you around on Zoom land? Because I would love for you to read right about now.
Yes, I'm here right now, Chip, and I have a dog that's barking.
Oh, awesome. He's reciting. He wants to be in Judy's book.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell Judy on Broadway, there's this other animal all on there with furry hair called cat. And also I hear that there's a song called Meow, or somewhere floating on the internet with these classical singers. But tell us your poem, Melissa Longo.
Thank you, Chip. Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Longo. Thank you so much, Chip, for the lovely intro. I have a corgi who is very upset right now at me because I'm talking to you all, but I'm not giving him pets. So this is called Keynote. I remember fiddling around with the keys of the compact piano in the home of my late grandparents, of Valley Stream, New York. The keys, ivory, pearly fur entertainment, and uplifting of the soul, vying for what note is next. A novice in this life, trying to understand what notes should be a part of my symphony. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, now we have the corgi on the bed.
Thank you so much. I know that someone else wants your attention. Hey, hey, Claire, do we have Herb in Zoom land? Because he was like the first person online.
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Oh, great, great. What you got for us today, Herb?
Oh, I have a poem from when I was a sideman musician in the Union and played clubs in Orange County, California. And this is a poem from one of those clubs back in 1977. It was, let me show you. It was published in the Suffolk County Poetry Review, 2023. Truth about life, much is pathos, like the lives of the misfit, unlucky life patrons of this loud bar on Friday night. I'm down at the Cave tonight. It has a band, booze, and pool. It's painted with dark colors, poorly lit. It's a basic neighborhood bar in a poor part of town. I glance round. Tonight, crowding the black cocktail and green pool tables, I find Alexandra, an old alcoholic woman, claiming to be related to Queen Victoria. Randy and Doc, black leathered bikers, restlessly roaming in and out and always riding a ragged edge. Sally and Charlie, wild gypsy women, full of funny fashions, liquor, lust, lies, and looking for new tricks and trails. Jaybird, Batrat, Kobe and Flash, a few friendly, day-to-day living pool hustlers talking nice and fast. Tracy and me, stoned bohemian band members, and George, an amputee Vietnam War vet in a wheelchair. Some here are unaware of any pathos. Most, however, are, and are working hard not to be. We all smile while George wheels round the dance floor, laughing and dancing with Charlie. Thank you.
Always a good time with Herb. Thank you so much, Herb. I appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna come back here and we're gonna ask bombshell, wonderful Margaret Wall to please read for us. She's incredible. Here's why.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody on Zoom too. It was so great to listen to you, Judy, and to listen to you, Maya. It's great to be out here in Riverhead too, from Nassau. So this is a new poem that I wrote. I'm working on a poetry book for someone I had a crush on who passed away. This one's titled Hats Worn and Hearts Felt. I will never grow old or tired, learning the legacy and looking of things left behind by this man. The posts, the reels, the condolences on his memorial page prove from his talents to his giving heart, every day is another gift of Frank I discover. From class clown in junior high to actor, greensman on TV and movie sets, an artist, an Olympian-like swimmer, a boater, a pianist, a violinist, a gardener, an encourager, a father, a brother, a son, uncle, wrestler, sports enthusiast, a cook, a music performance appreciator. No fear of shooting off fireworks in front of his childhood home or riding on top of a Ferris wheel, rocking his seat back and forth. His story and Hats Worn remain endless. A scroll rolls longer in his credential wardrobe than any final credits. This life cut too short, this true life movie that can't be measured. Its effects last farther than yardsticks or mileage can trace. Only felt inside beats of hearts of those left behind who miss his and those who have ever missed somebody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Margaret. Really appreciate you. So we have Dee Dee Spungen on in Zoomland, and she's a mighty force to reckon with. She's a wonderful poet, and she's all over the island. And where else are you, Dee Dee? Tell us about your book.
Oh, well, the book, that's an old book now. Book was published in 2020. Anybody who had a book published in 2020 knows what that meant. It was a long time before it got to be out in public.
Well, it's on my coffee table, so I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with that book. It was published, by the way, by Words with Wings Press. Peter Dugan and Judy Turek, publishers of that book, and it was a wonderful experience. And speaking of wonderful experiences, I want to say, first of all, Chip, Claire, thank you so much for having this. And Maya and Judy, what a spectrum! I mean, the spectrum of poetry never disappoints. It was wonderful. So thank you, and all the open micers, thank you so much. I'm going to read one poem called Trial by Inexplicable Behaviors, or Why I'm Giving Up the News. Nothing new about world failure, nothing startling about broken hearts. A kind of peace settles in, its background a quiet secret, peace that only quiet delivers, absence of response, that pause near to holiness, deliverance from requirements, the line drawn at need to know, need to parse, to comprehend, a high dive, a beach run, a flower planted, tended. Reserve my place in Neverland, this world, a spinning madness. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sheila Hoffenberg is here, and I think this is maybe her first time. And I am just like so looking forward to hearing her read. You know, Poetry Street is the room without a roof where every voice is heard. We have poet laureates and we have beginners, as you can see today, and we have people like me who don't know what they're doing, but are doing the best I can. Anyway, here you are, Sheila.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So glad to be here. Hello, everybody on Zoom. Thank you, Chip. Mara, that was really beautiful. First time I heard you and it was lovely. And Judy, I don't have to say anything about you. You know how I feel. This poem was just it's being published. I received an award last week at the Nassau County Poet Laureate Society for this poem, which is going to be published. And it is one of my favorite. It's about unfortunately, what's going on in the world today. And it's called Enough Already. It's happening too many times. This seems to be the trend of mass shootings and stabbings. When is this madness going to end? Schools are for learning. Groceries are to shop. We can't continue living in fear. This insanity must now stop. Churches are for praying. Hospitals to help mend the sick. But guns now have taken over. Someone must do something and it must be done quick. Our world has been turned upside down. No places we can hide. The only way to avoid it all is to safely remain inside. What has happened to our children? What has made them turn to hate? Their minds are full of insane thoughts. What has caused them to be in this state? Since COVID, nothing has been the same. It's gone from bad to worse. 3 years in the making. This is a horrible curse. We must get guns away from the evil. There's no reason they should be allowed to buy. This can't continue much longer. Have to act now. We must try. So let's hope for some calm and tranquility. No more murders, please. No more dead. Let's concentrate on making life better and pray for peace instead. Thank you.
Wow. There's a message in this poetry, you know.
Yeah.
And wow, thank you so much for that. Nina Uvell is one of our mothers of Poetry Street, and we're so happy to have her here. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Nina Uvell.
So, hi, I'm going to be a grandmother, actually. I'm going to be 80 in a couple of days. I mean, not a grandmother, not a true grandmother, grandmother of Poetry Street. Anyway, the moose has been dead for months, so I'm digging out old poems from the boxes underneath my desk. I don't even know what this means, but I'm going to read it. Just now, as the steam rises from this moving train, I remembered that precise moment the ship pulled its anchor and began the long journey. I recall the thrill of thought before speech, when the idea in full blossom paraded undressed before its cruelest censor. That split of time, a splash of rain on the lips, the taste of salt, dreams held whole, visions as clear as new snow. I see the long chain of arms entwined, the familiar eyes, banjo rambling on the photographs of a wedding in Coney Island. The harmony of songs sliding down the banisters of my history. I wander in and out of those circles, my eyes lost, trying to hold on to the single beating heart, Gaia breathing inside of me. I shout out to the lost souls, hold me, but our fingers slip like grain tumbling down the elevators, yet the vision persists. I try to stay the slipping bonds. Till the loose ends, I have forgotten how to speak of visions, of solutions that arise from the underworld machines, desperate to bring the message to the surface, the word salads of schizophrenics. I am growing my father's hair, he said. I have forgotten how to grow my own.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you so much for your loyalty and your love. It really keeps us going here at Poetry Street. One of our founders is here, Bubby Brown, Robert A. Bubby Brown is here, and he doesn't have a poem today, which is kind of disappointing, but he's going to tell us a little message. He's going to speak today, and I'd like to bring him up at this time. Let's give it up for one of our founders, Robert A. Bubby Brown.
Hi. I'm just blessed to hear poetry. It's been one of the loves of my life. And after I got involved with like Nina and Maggie, Susan Dingle and Chip, it amazes me how poetry is so, can't really put words to it, but it fulfills me. It's cathartic sometimes. It's a vent, and I'm just blessed to be in the presence. And every time I hear a poem, it does something. It's like radiation. If it touches you, it's going to make a change. It's going to make, and I'm going to do this. I've done it here before, probably a few times. If you heard it before, act like it's the first time you made it. It's because it's on the dawn of Juneteenth, and I think it sort of works in this vein. This poem is written and dedicated to that endangered species, the African-American male, who has given his life in wars for this land in disproportionate numbers, who is incarcerated in the prisons of this land in disproportionate numbers, and who is imprisoned in his mind by illegal controlled substances in this land in disproportionate numbers. It's entitled, It's Time. It's time. The time for revenge and blame is long past. Let's look to the future anew. God has led us safely thus far. Now it's time to do our just due. It's time for my young brothers to stand tall with pride and grace and be a living hero to some small child of this proud race. At times, standing tall can be a problem. When the fashion plate decrees, it's cool to shuffle with your hands in your pockets and your pants down to your knees. It's time for somebody's daddy to take that child in hand and explain that the teenage part of life is basic training to being a man. It's time to get educated. Forget TV, pick up a book, and then go outside and practice your dribble and your running fadeaway hook. I know we're athletically inclined, fine-tuned when properly trained, but those muscles fade like a summer sun, so you better fine-tune your brain. It's time, my brother, to sit back and take stock of the precious gems and jewels and such we have in our jewelry box. I'm not talking about rubies or diamonds, pearls or precious others. I'm talking wives, sisters, daughters, nieces, girlfriends, and most of all, our mothers. They are the backbone of this heritage, worth more than a king's ransom in coins. And we, the male gender of this race, are mere droppings from their loins. It's time to tell the media, I'm not the person that they portray. From digging ditches to chairman of the board, I work each and every day. It's time to tell America, we're not all rapists, hoodlums, and thugs. We're not all wife and child abusers, and we're not all pushing drugs. Question: billions are made from that illegal trade, a fact well understood. But tell me, are there any millionaire dealers in your neighborhood? It's time to look to the future, for the future lies ahead. Only look back to check your references or to pay homage to your dead. It's time for love, my brother. For love, my brother, it's time. Love, love, everlasting love. Love of me and love of mine. It's time.
My plate is full. Wow, my plate is so full. Now, Michael Hickey, we would definitely like to hear from you. And next we're coming to Carolyn Downley. Michael.
Hi, it's nice to be here. This is my first time here. I know TA. Hi, TA. It's great to see you again. And I have an altar built in my basement to Judy Turek. Okay, it's a little creepy. So anyway, I love Judy Turek and my, wow, what a set. I feel the need to read this poem. It is an epistolary poem, in other words, a letter. And I dedicate it to a student that I taught college English for 30 years. I just retired. And I had a student named Tom. I dedicate this to Tom. Tom once told me that for him, every day is Memorial Day. He was the platoon leader in the Iraq War. This begins with a quote. This is really true. An online teacher course evaluation that was published anonymously by a college student in Texas. And here's what this student had to say about this particular English course. The student says, worst class ever. There was too much reading. Class was boring. I think I would rather watch paint dry than be in that class. The only good thing is that he didn't keep us for the 2 full hours required. This poem is called Watching Paint Dry. Dear Anonymous, I regret you thought my class was boring and that there was too much reading. Since it was a literature course, I'm not sure what you were expecting, but I apologize for failing to meet your academic expectations. Inasmuch as grades have already been submitted, I'm afraid it's too late to receive a tuition reimbursement, but I feel obligated to share my teaching philosophy. In 1972, I returned from my second tour of duty in Vietnam. For months, I had dreams in which I was trying to kill Charlie with my bayonet, but it took forever. I had dreams about my friend Logan, who got his face shot off. I also had dreams about the little boy I killed because I thought he was carrying a grenade. It was actually a toy soldier. Psychologists used to call my condition battle fatigue or being shell-shocked. Today, they call it post-traumatic stress. All I knew back then was that there was a movie projector in my head, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't turn it off. I used to tap my foot uncontrollably and drink scotch just to get to sleep. I'd wake up screaming my mother's name. I'd wake up screaming, kill, kill, kill. If you watch movies and see anything resembling glory, don't be fooled. It's all a fabrication. In Vietnam, death was as commonplace as life. I once saw a man step on a landmine and get blown up into a tree. He was still alive and blinking his eyes, even though he had no lower torso. Alcohol, sleeping pills, and despair became so prevalent that I used to take solace in contemplating suicide. There was a voice in my head saying, you're a pussy, you're a coward. You don't have the guts to do it. Be a man. For once in your life, be a man. And I held a gun to my temple 97 mornings in a row. The cool barrel was welcome relief against the concentration of body heat. Turns out Nietzsche was wrong. That which did not kill me did not make me stronger. It only fueled my self-contempt. And then one morning, and don't ask me how this happened, I woke up and I said, I think I want to live. Imagine that. So my Uncle Nicky got me a job on the railroad and I started going to night school, I developed an appetite, an insatiable appetite for reading. Americans, Russians, Brits, anything I could get my hands on. I started writing too, and in time, no longer did I punch holes in walls or kick in doors. The twitching in my face subsided and the auditory hallucinations waned. No longer was my head on a swivel, but guilt and shame are still a part of me. I killed a lot of people. I killed a little boy holding a toy soldier. The date is tattooed on my wrist, May 6, 1970, Memorial Day. For me, every day is Memorial Day. You see, I too have watched pain dry. It is a slow, tedious process, which is why I sometimes felt the need to dismiss class early. In conclusion, I apologize for the distress I have caused you. I understand how challenging my class must have been, because even today, I sometimes ask myself if all of this is really happening, or is it just one long, vivid, and virulent dream? Respectfully, Professor Grayson. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that very personal poem. That was very strong and painful. You know, it reminds me of to let everyone know that people are full of emotions, especially right now. You know, and check in with your friends and everything. To just check in to see where they are, their mental health. This poem that I'm going to read is a poem very personal to me. It's about a beast. A lot of us have beasts. Some of us could be alcohol, some could be drugs, some can be depression, like mine. It's called The Beast. My eyes open, the day falls dark, and I'm at war with the beast I defeated yesterday. No one can see the wound tightly wrapped in the dry bloodstained linen underneath my breastplate. No one seems to care, having their own battles to fight and their own wounds to mend. From the muddy depths, I lifted up my sword towards the heavens, and I began swinging with the mighty strength of the gods, cutting the belly of the beast, merely wounding him before he began to retreat. Another round is imminent, and morning is only hours away. I will rejoice and rest till then. Thank you. Claire, is there anyone else on Zoom land that would like to read?
I have a poem, Chip.
Oh, excellent. Come on down.
All right. This one is called Anniversary Guilt. Night terrors walk hand in hand with anniversary guilt to wake me with their incessant tugging toward fear and dread in the early morning hours before first light, in the shadows of dawn. They creep into my consciousness from a sound and restful sleep with an adrenaline rush to the heart that forces now rapid staccato beats, thud thud thudding in the walls of my chest, interspersed with halted, shallow breaths, an irregular electrical current that beads a cold sweat at the base of my temples and on the backs of my knees. Terror raises its skeletal hand out from the freshly covered grave, clinging still to life. It asks for a second chance, waving its bony finger toward my forehead, a wagging index of hand wringing and mental writhing. Get up, get up, get up, shake off the fear. But there I lay, supine, paralyzed in its grip, unable to turn the channel from this horror film fest of the future. Free-floating anxiety is the term my aunt used to give the phenomena, but that is far too gentle a term for me. For this is not about of innocuous, anxious insomnia brought about by today's to-do list or yesterday's undone chores that still await. Oh, were that it were just a few trivial tasks, morphed from a molehill to mountain in my mind. No, these night terrors have a much more tenacious grip on me. They beg for answers to questions no one in the waking world is actually asking. They demand I feed their insatiable hunger for meaning derived from a life lived thus far, full of memories created that I can scarcely recall, and others still I beg to forget. They command an exacting foretelling of a future I cannot possibly foresee. Perchance, by speaking of them to you, naming them aloud and giving myself a voice, perhaps next time I'll be able to rise up against them, put them to rest, silence their shrill for at least another year. Thank you.
So powerful. Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you so much. Okay. So before we bring our features back, I'd like to read one more poem. This is entitled Uncle's Last Rites, and it was published in the Suffolk County Poetry Review. I'm very proud of the anthology of poetry of Suffolk County poets, and I'm one of them. Unexpectedly, there he was, backbent, a good man broken down. Every day waking instinctively, strapping on weights of silence, full bag of tears bundled in loads of secrets. He carried it all wherever he went, wet with his own sweat in a puddle. There he stood, still backbent. After seeing his dire reflection, he called out for the priest to be sent. A good Samaritan walking by heard his call without a thought, dropping it all. He ran as fast as he could, taking a shortcut over the tracks, through tight cracks, with added trouble right in his back, deep into another hood. There alone he stood, wet with sweat, heart pounding, back all bent, completely exhausted, legs sore, arriving where sin, then collapsing at the sanctuary's door. No moon or stars were in sight, but a good man did receive last rites. I'd like to thank you all for coming out to Poetry Street on Zoom and also in the River Hill Public Library. I'd like to bring our features back. First, I would like to bring back Judy J.R. Turek. Let's give her a hand.
Wow. Dude, so I'm gonna pick the last one and somebody's just gonna pick a number. Three. Good, I don't recognize that number. Sometimes it's a test and it's like, oh. Anyway. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Zoomland. Daily news. You've got your newspaper now, get my leash, coffee for you, water for me, and let's go get my news. We are going to the park. No rain today, sunny skies, no fleas, no flies, and friends all around. Sniff, sniff. Chance was here. Sniff, sniff. And so was Tommy, but they're gone. See, you take too long getting ready. No one here cares what you're wearing. Oh, big boy Xerox had barbecue chicken last night. Lucky him, but I had French fries, maybe just a little too much salt. Can I have some water, please? Okay, gotta run and play. All my foodie friends are here. Hershey and Ruffles, Klondike and Snickers, Snapple, Munchkin and Keebler, and that giant gumball, though he is round and sweet. We're at the dog park. Play, 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 sniff, sniff, sniff. What a wonderful life. A ball, a stick, my favorite, a frisbee. All shapes and sizes, all colors and breeds, all joyous together. Hey, humans, are you taking notes? Okay, tired now. Home, please. Bed, sleep. Will you carry me? Sniff, sniff. Here, you need some kisses. And I'm gonna read the last poem in the book. There's messages in all of them, and a good number of them are funny and cute, and there's a number of them that are serious. But when it came to the 24th hour, I was actually very disappointed that it was over. I could have done another 24. I was just very exhilarated about the idea of poetry, challenging myself for poetry. So I was a little sad that it was over, but also the over was in my mind. And so the book is Dog Speak, and this is called Serious Speak. I know you don't like serious conversations, but we need to discuss something. It's important. I need to know that you will be okay when I have to leave. No, I don't know anything you don't. I just have to be sure while I'm here that you will find a life without me. We've had fun together, laughed, cried, learned what we want and like, what makes us who we are, what keeps us together as a team, as family, as soulmates. So wait a little while and get another dog. You're not replacing me. You're taking on my spirit in a different breed and color and temperament. Don't think I'll make it easy for you. Training is important. Thanks. I'm glad we had this talk. Carry on. Okay, let's play. Can I throw the ball this time? Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. You're an inspiration. Okay, now to close this off, we have Maya Dreamwalker. Let's bring her up, ladies and gentlemen. Maya. So glad to finally have her here.
And actually, I have no paperwork this time. I'm going to see if it's
all right
in the gray map. I want to take you to the core. Well, it's the beat I've been looking for. It's not hard, it's not soft, it's not too sweet. It brings a rhythm to the feet. Yeah, it's hot, because that's the flavor that I got. Heart Central. Oh no, it's not coincidental. Come take a ride on the magic's carpet side into the place where you just can't hide. But you can't come in on no VIP pass, and you can't come in with a heart made of glass, and you can't rise to the front from the rear, and you can't see if your mind ain't clear, and you can't force, you can't bully, can't push in front of this fiercely burning bush, in front of this fiercely burning bush, in front of this fiercely burning bush. Stop.
I could tell that she was in the theater. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a wonderful Poetry Street here in Riverhead. Happy Memorial Day. Happy birthday to my spouse, John James. I really appreciate you and love you so very much. And I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here. And see you next month at Poetry Street, where Maggie will be back, and we'll be so happy with that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a great day.